I've worked with hundreds of players from the NHL all the way down to U10 hockey, and there's one big issue I've noticed. Most hockey players think they're stuck because they're not naturally gifted enough. They look at elite players like Jack Hughes, McDavid, McKinnon, and think, that guy's just more gifted than me. He's more athletic. He just has that natural talent that I wasn't born with. But the truth is, there's lots that you and many players can steal from the best players in the world. The only problem is most players can identify the real block holding them back from actually doing it. So they waste their time working on the wrong things at the wrong times. And because they solve the wrong problem, they stay stuck. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you the 5-step formula I take every client through to make sure that they work on the right things so they can actually level up their performance 10 times faster than everybody else on their team. Because the fastest way to improve is not just working harder than everybody, it's working smarter first, then harder. Step 1 is diagnose the problem, obviously, because once you identify the real bottleneck, the pathway gets very clear of where to go next with your development. So basically the first step of the 5, I said 5, this is technically 2, but we'll just say 1, is to start by looking at your hockey IQ. Because if the player's making the wrong read, they're choosing the wrong option or making the wrong decision, then once you fix that, it can change everything. If you fix this, you can take a skill that you already have and the confidence you know you have deep down and just quickly make a better decision, and all of a sudden, boom, you make a better play. A lot of times the shift is just seeing the game better. If you look at the best players in the world, it's not just that they have great mechanics, it's that they know when to use those mechanics at the right time. So the first questions I always ask to diagnose if it's an IQ issue are very simple. Do you know what to do here? If they say yes, then we go through, okay, what would you do? If it's an effective decision or a good principle that they're applying, then we simply want to figure out, do you know when to do it? And then if they say, yeah, I would have done it here, I just didn't do it, perfect. That gives us a ton of information, because a few quick tweaks, you have a look, you figure out what the detail is there, and boom, you're already fixed. But a lot of players get stuck because they stay frustrated and they say, I'm not getting the result. They go and shoot a bunch of pucks, they go and do a bunch of stick handling reps, and a lot of players end up super frustrated because they're not getting the results, even though the real issue is very simple to fix. They just need to figure out, okay, what is the principle I want to apply in these types of situations? And then, as we'll talk about later, you need to learn to install that deeply in your subconscious instinct. So anytime I look at a clip of a player, or I tell a player to look at a clip, you want to figure out, what are you trying to do here? What's the cue you're trying to read? Or was the idea right, but the timing was just wrong? Or maybe you shouldn't even have tried what you tried and you need to just dump it away, or make a simple play, or live to fight another battle. I see so many players get run over in games because they think, I need to make a play every time. Sometimes the best players just chip it away, get off the ice because they're tired. So you got to realize the best players aren't just creative, they do the right things at the right time and apply the right principles. And that is really what a skill is. It's taking the physical ability you have, the confidence you have, and then making an effective decision at the right time. Now, if that doesn't fix it, and we change the IQ piece and you're still not able to do the thing you want to do in the situation, then that's where we start to look at execution and the actual mechanics of the player. So they know what to do, they know when to do it, but they just can't pull off the move effectively. Now the question becomes, what is that mechanic? So what I typically do is look at the clip, and then I have the player visualize the situation and see what felt uncomfortable, what felt off, and then I look and actually see what looked off. Instead of going straight to confidence and saying, I got to change my mindset, or saying, I just need to make a better decision, sometimes you then have to look and say, okay, maybe it is mechanical. Maybe I need to go do some more power skating, or attack this more specifically with a skills development coach who can really look at the details of my game. So to really assess if this is an execution issue where you need to work on your skills or your physical ability in the gym, maybe get stronger, faster, more explosive, is to say, okay, if I know what to do, when to do it, but physically I'm just not able to execute exactly how I want, don't blame it on your confidence, don't blame it on your IQ, go and work on those two things. Get a physical trainer, work with a skills development coach, or join one of our programs, because we do all that stuff in our program. Shameless plug, I know. And the next step is something that a lot of players don't realize is very, very key, and this is something I call a programming diagnosis. Now this is where things get really interesting, because sometimes a player knows what to do, they have the physical ability to do it, but they still don't do it. And what's crazy about this is when you slow the clip down, they can explain right away what they should have done. Or maybe if you put them in practice, they execute it all the time. But if you put them in a game, all of a sudden they can't make that exact same play. The problem with this is they can't execute the skill under pressure. Why? Because knowing something is not the same as having it installed in your subconscious instincts. So if you can do something sometimes, or you can do it in practice most of the time, it doesn't necessarily mean it's instinctual for you. Because once you get under stress and pressure, your brain defaults to the deepest instincts you have installed. And that's what I mean by a programming problem. I mean, you haven't installed this as a program program deep enough in your instincts yet. So this is when the player has the idea, they have the skill, but the response just isn't wired deep enough. So that's why it doesn't come out automatically whenever the player is in a big game, it's a fast game, or maybe just games in general. So you got to realize hockey's not played at the speed of the thoughts in your head. Like that voice in your head can't actually play for you. So if you hesitate in games, it's because your default is to hesitate. If you chip it away, it's because your default is to chip it away. So if you can identify the issue, you know exactly what to fix. It's probably not a confidence issue per se. It's probably the fact that you haven't installed it deep enough into your brain. So that's why I always ask players, can you say it intellectually? Okay, perfect. Well, then we probably just need to do more visualization reps, learn how to actually program our subconscious mind effectively, and then you will start making that decision more often because you know what to do, when to do it, you have the physical ability to do it. So then this naturally is the next place to go. Now, let's say this doesn't work still. You install it, but yet there's still a block. You still get to the game and you freeze up, you make simple plays, you're not able to execute the way you know you're capable of. Then only then will I do a mental block diagnosis, which sounds really weird because most people know me as a mental coach, but I really identify as a performance coach. And I say this because when a player is trying to get better, the first place you want to look is, could you make a better decision? Then once we look at the decision piece, then it's, okay, do we have the ability to make that decision? Then if both of those things are good, then it becomes, is it installed deep enough where it's habitual? Then when we get to the point where all those things are there, then we start to look and say, okay, maybe this is actually simply just fear, self-doubt, limited belief, or you just don't know what your identity is on the ice, so you default to a safer play instead of making a confident play. And really this comes from subconscious blocks. So it's not consciously a problem. Consciously you know and you believe that you can do it. But subconsciously you get into this moment and it's almost like standing at the edge of a cliff when you have a chance to make a move. Your body goes, no, let's make a safe play. Let's get away from this. And you chip it away. You hand it to a teammate. You don't really take the player on, or maybe you hesitate to shoot the puck. That's when you know the issue isn't knowledge or ability or reps. What it means is that your subconscious mind has attached danger to making that right play. And that's why you're trying to protect yourself. Now again, sometimes this comes from fear, from past mistakes. Sometimes it comes from a limited amount of self-belief. You haven't done it enough times successfully. And sometimes it really does come from that deep identity state of, I am a good player. But you don't fix this by just screaming in the mirror, I can do it, I'm a great player, I'm a goal scorer. You do this by first doing enough physical reps, training yourself in that area, getting as close as you can to the thing you want to stop hesitating in. But then you have to go really deep. And this is something I can't really break down in this video. We have other videos on the channel breaking down how to get to the root, we call it the 5 whys, but it's really getting to the root of what is that base fear at the root of your subconscious mind. When you find that, you can then learn to unwire it and your brain will stop trying to protect you and you will start to play fearless. But again, that's a deeper conversation for this video. I don't want to turn this into like a 40-minute video. And so this is why players, when they join our programs, break through so much faster than they thought they could. Not because we teach them some magic trick, not because we make them manifest some kind of crazy thing, but because once you identify the real bottleneck, you stop wasting energy on the wrong things. And that's when progress takes off. So if you don't know what to do or when to do it, then work on your IQ. If you do know what to do and when to do it, then you need to first work on your mechanics and your physical tools in the gym. Now, if you also have the physical tools and you know you're capable of actually doing it, then you need to install it deeper using deeper visualization techniques and programming those as instincts. But if they're installed as instincts and you're still not making the right decision, then it's time to work on that mental block. It's time to attack the fear, the self-belief, rewire, and make an identity shift. And so before you work harder on the wrong thing this offseason, figure out what's actually limiting your game. That's what's going to be the difference between staying stuck and being basically the same player this year with the same ice time, same opportunities, same frustration, and breaking through and becoming a totally different player. And that's exactly what we help players do. So I put 2 links below. The first one is a free mental performance assessment. This is where you're going to meet with one of my assistant coaches. They'll talk with you for 20 to 30 minutes and really figure out what is actually holding you back. Maybe it is IQ, maybe it is physical, maybe it is something you need to work on installing deeper, or maybe it is a mental block. Either way, we want to help you actually figure it out. That's the purpose of that. So please go click that if you want help with this. To be clear, it's totally free. We're not going to sell you anything on that call. You cannot buy anything, so don't even bring a credit card. Just show up with a pen and paper, ready to learn. And second, if you just want to get started with mental training, there's a second link below where you can start to learn about confidence, decision making, how to set up an off season, all that stuff. That's the second link, which is our free identity shift mental training. Check those out below. I hope you have an awesome week and check out this video because YouTube thinks you're really going to like this one next.